Welcome to the eerie realm of Tasmania, where shadows whisper secrets of the past, and every corner holds a haunting tale. From abandoned asylums to ancient ruins, we're diving into the spine-chilling stories behind the top 15 haunted historic sites. Brace yourself, are you ready to explore the creepiest places ever? The ghosts of Tasmania await. 1. Port Arthur Historic Site, Port Arthur. Just off the coast of Tasmania lies Port Arthur, a place tangled in shadows and steeped in sorrow. It was once a convict settlement, a hell on earth where the most notorious criminals of the British Empire were sent to languish. But this historical site is also notorious for something far more unsettling than just the weight of its past. It brims with tales of hauntings, unsettling figures, and echoes of despair that refuse to fade. Port Arthur came into being in 1830, designed as a prison for repeat offenders, criminals who were meant to be reformed in the face of hard labor and harsh discipline. Over the decades, more than 500 individuals passed through its gates, many experiencing the brutality of daily life that often drove men to madness. The isolation, the punishment, the loss of humanity, they say all of it lingers, entrapping souls within the walls of the old penitentiary. Now, what haunts Port Arthur is not just the remnants of the lost lives within its crumbling structures, but also the spine-chilling tales shared by those who visit. Among the most common apparitions is that of a soldier seen wandering the grounds, endlessly searching the yard for escape, as if still guarding the grim fortifications. It's said that the sound of clanging metal can often be heard late at night, igniting fear in those brave enough to stay after sunset. But it doesn't end with just spectral soldiers. In the eerie, abandoned asylum, staff and visitors have reported sudden drops in temperature and sightings of shadowy figures flitting through the halls. Some have even claimed to feel an unsettling presence following them, as if the very walls are steeped in grief and misery. There's one tale of a group of ghost hunters stumbling upon a chilling encounter, a cold hand grasping an arm, only to find no one behind them. The sensation was gone in an instant, leaving nothing but the lingering terror of the unseen. Just outside the chapel, there's a place that seemed to unnerve the living more than others. Many recount experiences of feeling an immense sorrow wash over them, accompanied by disembodied whispers that send shivers down spines. Those whispers often echo what was experienced by the consecrated lives lost within the very stones prisoners who turned to spirits, unable to leave the torment behind. As night sets over Port Arthur, an unsettling silence blankets the site. For every brick that was laid in despair, it seems a piece of that despair lingers on the wind. 2. Willow Court The Barracks, New Norfolk. In the heart of New Norfolk, Tasmania, lies the hauntingly quiet estate of Willow Court, the site of the old lunatic asylum, operated from 1827 until its closure in 2000. This place has seen its fair share of anguish and despair. It was here that the mentally ill were often confined, their cries for help swallowed by the thick walls that offered little refuge from the harsh treatment of the era. The shadow of Willow Court looms large, whispering the tragedies of those once confined within its walls. As you walk across the decaying grounds, the air becomes heavy, almost electric. There's an unsettling stillness, as if the very earth holds its breath. Many visitors report feelings of being watched, and a few even claim to hear the echoes of anguished wails cut through the stillness. The stories of Willow Court are not just folklore, they're woven into the fabric of the lives that intersected in this dismal place. Local legends speak of a woman named Mary, said to have been a patient in the asylum, who met a tragic end within its confines. She was known for her piercing screams, echoing late into the night. Many claim to have seen her apparition wandering the grounds, her face a mask of sorrow, eyes reflecting a pain that lingers long after her earthly body has departed. Some bold souls have reported feeling an inexplicable chill in the air just before she appears, a sign that she is near. Could it be her spirit? Still searching for peace in a place that offered none. Reports also abound of shadowy figures crossing the dilapidated halls, vanishing as quickly as they appear. A particularly chilling encounter details a ghostly figure in a hospital gown that some have witnessed lingering in the former wards. Those who have dared to explore the asylum's corridors alone often speak of their heart rates surging as they feel an icy grip on their shoulders, only to turn and find no one there. And then there's the heavy feeling in the atmosphere of pressure, like being submerged in deep water. Many who visit claim they can almost sense the despair that permeates the place, along with the overwhelming urge to flee. Investigators have searched for evidence of the paranormal here, but sometimes it's the simple, unexplainable feelings of dread and sorrow that linger the longest. As you leave Willow Court, I urge you to reflect on the pain of those housed within its grim walls. What remains a history steeped in torment and shadows serves as a haunting reminder that some places are never truly empty. Three, Sarah Island, Strahan. Nestled in the remote reaches of Tasmania, Sarah Island stands as a chilling reminder of Australia's dark colonial past. This small, isolated landmass was once home to the infamous Sarah Island Penal Colony, a place designated for the most hardened criminals. Established in 1833, it was notorious for its brutal conditions and the sheer despair that settled among its inhabitants like a thick fog. The island's history is a tapestry woven with the screams of the forgotten men who were not just punished, but tortured in every sense of the word. As you wander through the remnants of crumbling buildings, you might feel an unsettling presence. Locals whisper about sightings of shadowy figures darting between the ruins, particularly near the old dock where convicts once arrived. Shackled in chains, their faces etched with terror, some claim to hear the anguished cries of those left to perish in the unforgiving environment, trapped by the relentless tides and the island's merciless isolation. But the hauntings at Sarah Island aren't limited to echoes of the past. Visitors have recounted eerie encounters that chill the bone. One traveler spoke of feeling an inexplicable chill as they walked along the shoreline, hearing distant whispers carried by the wind, a ghostly chorus of despair that seemed to rise from the very ground beneath their feet. Another recounted peering through the fog to glimpse a disheveled figure wandering the ruins, a man dressed in 19th century garb. When approached, he vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a sense of profound loss. The most troubling stories come from the remnants of the old penitentiary, where several inmates reportedly met grisly ends after attempting to escape or standing against the harsh authority of their wardens. Speculation surrounds one particular building known as the Boys' Barracks. Those who dare to spend the night nearby claim to wake to heavy footsteps and the faint sounds of clanking chains. Is it the ghosts of youthful men wanting desperately to break free? Or is it the watchful eyes of long-ago overseers ensuring that they never escape? As twilight descends and the island is bathed in shadows, you can almost feel the weight of their despair hanging in the air. With every gust of wind, you might hear their stories swirling around you, reminders that what happened here is far from forgotten. In the haunting silence that follows, consider this chilling thought. On Sarah Island, the past is alive, and what was once neglect may never truly rest. Four, Hobart Convict Penitentiary, Hobart. In the heart of Tasmania, an unsettling secret lies buried beneath the crumbling stone walls of the Hobart Convict Penitentiary. This was once a place teeming with despair, where the anguished cries of wronged souls still seem to linger. Between 1830 and 1877, the penitentiary housed some of society's most dangerous murderers, thieves, and men guilty of unspeakable crimes. Imagine standing amidst those very walls, where punishment often surpassed the bounds of imagination. What stories do those stones hold? Positioned ominously along the banks of the Derwent River, the penitentiary was initially built to detain the notorious convicts of Van Diemen's Land. Conditions were brutally harsh. Prisoners worked under guard in a forced labor system that drove many to madness or death. A violent uprising erupted in 1841, signaling that even the most hardened criminals could only withstand so much torment. It said that after a tiring day of labor, the shadows of the restless souls still haunt those same grounds, forever searching for justice never served. Many accounts of ghostly encounters have emerged from visitors and ghost hunters alike. The oppressive air that hangs over the penitentiary can leave even the most skeptical feeling uneasy. As night falls, some claim to hear distant echoes of shouting or the eerie, hollow sound of chains rattling. Others have reported seeing shadowy figures flitting between the ruins, glimpses of the forlorn spirits of convicts who met a tragic end on the very soil you stand upon. Tourists recount chilling moments where sudden drops in temperature swept through the corridors, accompanied by an inexplicable feeling of being observed. A notorious apparition, known as the Watcher, has been seen standing guard near the old gate. Some say this loyal spirit is a former warden, forever bound to his duty, while others whisper that he might just be one of the convicts seeking retribution. Imagine feeling a heavy gaze upon you in the silence of the night, only to turn and find nothing but the frozen stone walls staring back. As the stories proliferate, an unsettling thought gnaws at the edges of your mind. What if these souls left behind have a tale they are desperate to tell? Ghosts of the penitentiary are not the only shadows residing in Hobart's past, as the very fabric of the place echoes with tales of suffering, injustice, and the constant scratching at the veil between the living and the dead. Five. Richmond Jail, Richmond. In the heart of Tasmania lies a place woven with dread and despair. The Richmond Jail. Originally opened in 1836, this grim establishment was not just a facility for punishment, it became a crucible of human suffering. This jail housed some of the vilest criminals in the colony, but above all, it bore witness to the stories of those who met untimely deaths within its forbidding walls. Can you imagine being trapped here, your fate sealed, with no hope of escape? The jail, comprised of brick cells and iron bars, which feel as if they might have once fed off the energy of the lost souls within, was built to hold inmates for crimes ranging from theft to murder. Many never experienced freedom again. During the 1852 prison riots, the unsettling tension peaked as incarcerated men revolted against their harsh conditions, only to be met with violent reprisals. It's said that the spirits of those who died there still linger, seeking justice or perhaps vengeance. Local legend speaks of a ghostly figure known as the Weeping Woman, believed to be the spirit of a convict who suffered a tragic end in the depths of this subterranean sorrow. Visitors recount chilling encounters finding the temperature drop suddenly in the cells, feeling phantom hands brush against them while they're alone, or even hearing soft cries just when the night seems too quiet. Ghostly apparitions have been spotted by weary travelers, their faces twisted in silent screams and vacant stares, forever haunted by their past. Those brave enough to spend the night often report feelings of dread washing over them as they wander from cell to cell. One visitor wrote of experiencing an overwhelming sense of despair when standing in solitary confinement, almost as if the walls were closing in, suffocating their spirit. The sound of rattling chains has been described by several witnesses, echoing through the jail as if the trapped souls are attempting to communicate their pain. Among the chilling accounts, perhaps the most unnerving is that of a family who decided to explore the jail, only to find their flashlight inexplicably flickering before going out entirely. When they turned to leave, they felt a breath on their neck, a cold whisper urging them back, as if beckoning them to stay just a moment longer to hear a tale yet untold. 6. Highfield Historic Site, Stanley. Highfield Historic Site in Stanley is not just a remnant of the past, it's a palpable manifestation of sorrow. This mid-19th century property, once a thriving estate showcasing the wealth of early Tasmanian colonial life, tells a story punctuated by tragedy. The last resident, Miss Emma Thorne, lived out her final days in solitude, her life echoing the loneliness that defined her existence after losing 2 brothers in the Great War. In her twilight years, she embraced her home with an obsessive fervor, yet the very walls she loved turned from a sanctuary into a somber prison. When she passed away in 1947, it wasn't just her body that left that haunted place. A piece of her spirit seemed tethered to Highfield, whispering stories to those who dared to listen. Visitors often recount unsettling experiences while wandering through the property's overgrown gardens and crumbling rooms. Some have felt an unshakable sensation of being watched, as if the air itself feels thick with the presence of the past. Children playing nearby have claimed to see a ghostly figure of a woman in white, lingering at the edge of the garden, her face both hopeful and forlorn. Many speculate this is the spirit of Miss Thorne, eternally seeking her lost family or simply yearning for companionship. Those brave enough to explore Highfield at dusk often describe cold gusts of wind that seem to come out of nowhere, followed by the soft sound of footsteps trailing behind them. It's not uncommon for people to snap photos only to later find unexpected orbs of light hovering in the frames. One such tale emerged from a local photographer who visited the estate. Locating himself in a room believed to have been Emma's bedroom, he later discovered a shadowy figure reflected in the glass of a nearby cabinet, a figure wearing a long, flowing dress, barely visible, as if she were trying to hide from the world she once knew. What's most chilling about these reports is the convergence of local lore and individual experience. As recent visitors share sightings, they sometimes unknowingly align with stories told by previous explorers of this ghostly refuge. Highfield isn't just a vestige of history, it's a living narrative shrouded in grief, where the veil between past and present feels remarkably thin, and where the sorrow of a bygone era perpetually resonates. Seven. Clarendon Estate, Evandale. In the quiet town of Evandale, there's an unassuming old estate that whispers tragedies from yesteryears, the Clarendon Estate. This once majestic home has seen shadows far darker than most could imagine. Founded in the 19th century, it was built by a wealthy landowner, but it wasn't long before this estate became home to sorrow that would seep into its very walls. The estate was originally constructed for Thomas Darcy and his family, and while it thrived as a hub of social life, it suddenly became the site of an inexplicable tragedy. Locals recount the story of a young girl who tragically perished in a fire, a calamity that would leave a heavy scar on the community. It is said that the flames raged like a beast unleashed, consuming not just the girl's life, but a period of innocence for everyone connected to the estate. From that day, whispers of her restless spirit began to swirl like smoke in the night. Over the years, many visitors have claimed to see her ghost wandering the meticulously kept grounds, a flicker of pale light darting past mirrored windows. Some say her laughter echoes through the halls, a haunting juxtaposition to the despair felt by those who once called this place home. One night, a local historian spent the evening documenting artifacts. As he pored over dusty tomes, he swore he felt a chill run down his spine, followed by the unmistakable sensation of a small hand grasping his wrist, then vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Others have shared tales of unexplained happenings, items inexplicably shifting, cold spot suddenly appearing, or hearing faint whispers when no one else was around. Eyewitnesses report looking out from the upstairs windows only to catch a glimpse of what they described as a fleeting figure darting behind the trees. Is it the lonely spirit of that little girl, still searching for solace amidst the shadows of her former life? Visitors recount hearing soft sobs in the night, and when they ventured to investigate, they found only silence. The estate holding its breath, guarding its secrets tightly. Some say it feels as if the very atmosphere thickens, like an unseen presence wrapping its arms around anyone daring enough to trespass. As the sun dips below the horizon, solidifying darkness within those ancient walls, the Clarendon Estate stands a solitary testament to a heart-wrenching past. It's a reminder that sometimes the deepest horrors musters from love and loss, intertwining their fates in a dance of sorrow. Perhaps, next time you drive by, you might pause and listen closely. Eight. Cascades Female Factory Historic Site, Hobart, in the shadow of Mount Wellington. The Cascades Female Factory in Hobart stands a stark reminder of a dark chapter in Tasmania's history. From 1828 to 1856, this institution served as a prison for female convicts, many of whom arrived with shackled dreams of a future erased by their crimes. Picture this: women, torn from their families in England, sent halfway across the world, forced to toil in brutal conditions, all under the unforgiving gaze of a system designed to break their spirits. Among the most tragic stories is that of Mary Ann, a young mother sentenced for stealing bread to feed her starving child. Arriving at Cascades, she endured the harrowing reality of solitary confinement, with some reports suggesting that she was driven mad by the isolation. Visitors today say her anguished spirit still roams the remnants of this grim establishment, looking for her lost child, manifesting as a cold breeze that brushes past when you least expect it. As we walk the cobblestone paths, the whispers of these women seem to echo through the air. Staff and visitors have often reported strange occurrences, footsteps following closely behind in empty rooms, the sound of soft cries cutting through the night air. Some have claimed to feel a presence so strong, it sent shivers down their spines, as though the very walls are alive with the sorrow of their stories. The atmosphere grows heavy, particularly in the solitary confinement cells, where the faint scent of lavender, often associated with the female convicts, suddenly fills the air, drawing a stark contrast to the despair that once dominated these walls. Local legends speak of flickering lights that dance in the windows, as if the ghosts are trying to communicate, seeking solace from a tragic fate. Some have set up ghost hunting excursions, capturing eerie phenomena on cameras, blurs of light and shadowy figures lurking just out of sight. While nothing has been definitively proven, the hairs on the back of necks stand tall, compelling even the toughest skeptics to question what might linger after the last echoes of chains have ceased to rattle. Cascades Female Factory is not just a historical site, it's an unsettling testament to resilience and suffering. The very essence of these women, bound and broken by circumstance, still clings to this place. When you find yourself there, standing among the ruins, remember they may not be gone, but rather transformed, haunting the spaces they once knew, eternally tethered to their stories. Nine. Woolmers Estate, Longford. Imagine stepping onto the grounds of Woolmers Estate, a sprawling historic property in Longford, Tasmania. This estate isn't just a beautiful piece of architecture, it's a somber reminder of the toll that time and tragedy can take. Woolmers Estate dates back to 1817, rooted in the ambitions of the Archer family who settled here. But beneath the stately facade lies a story laced with heartache and spectral whispers that have persisted through the ages. During its heyday, Woolmers was a bustling hub of agriculture and family life, However, tragedy struck the Archers repeatedly, leaving behind a tapestry of sorrow. The estate is said to have witnessed the deaths of several family members, including those who died young or under mysterious circumstances. Visitors often report a chilling sensation that seems to creep upon them, a sense that the grounds are still mournful, saturated with the pain of lost lives. The most chilling tales come from the estate's homestead. People have spoken about encountering a figure wearing old-fashioned clothing, seemingly brushing past them in the dim light of the hallway. They describe an overwhelming feeling of sadness when they enter certain rooms, as if the spirits of those long gone remain trapped by their emotional burdens. Children's laughter, echoing from empty rooms, raises the hairs on the back of the neck, especially since no children have lived in the estate for decades. Guided tours often recount sightings of apparitions near the gardens and the surrounding land. Some have claimed to see lights flickering in the windows at night when no one is there, while others have described disembodied voices calling out, beckoning from the shadows, almost as if they're still yearning for the company of the living. The estate is a treasure trove of artifacts, but among them lie ghostly tales that many dare not speak of. The quiet south wing is known to inspire an unnatural unease. One visitor recounted a feeling of being watched, noting that the air thickened as they approached the entrance. And once inside, they were overtaken with a sense of dread that urged them to leave. Still, people return, drawn by the estate's haunting beauty and its lingering spirits. Some come seeking connections with the past, while others hope to experience that elusive brush with the other side. Entally House, Hadspen. In the dense shadows of Hadspen, Tasmania, stands Entally House, a relic of a bygone era that whispers tales of sorrow and lost souls. Constructed between 1819 and 1820, this Georgian mansion was originally the grand residence of the prominent Archer family. But beneath its elegant facade lies a darker narrative, one shrouded in tragic events and restless spirits that continue to haunt its hallowed halls. The house, with its sprawling grounds, was not just a home for the Archers, it became a center for the local community. Yet, it was also a place marked by heartbreak. In the late 1800s, tragedy struck when the family endured the death of beloved members. Their spirits believed to linger within the very walls that once sheltered them. Visitors today often report feelings of overwhelming sorrow and the inexplicable sense of being watched, a chilling reminder of those who tread there before. Among the most persistent legends is that of Mrs. Archer herself. Witnesses claim to have seen her spectral form gliding through the dimly lit corridors, dressed in a flowing white gown, still attending to the tasks of a devoted matriarch long after her mortal life ended. Those who have encountered her ghost describe an icy chill that accompanies her presence, an unsettling feeling that the house is not as empty as it appears. Then there's the notorious child's room. Here, some guests describe the eerie sensation of small hands grasping at their ankles, as if a phantom child plays a macabre game of hide-and-seek. Those who dare to stay the night have recorded inexplicable sounds, soft giggles, and the distinct patter of tiny feet, leading many to believe that the children of the Archers have never truly departed. Entally House has also attracted the attention of paranormal investigators. Yet no definitive evidence has emerged, no EVPs or video footage to clear the veil of mystery. Instead, what persists are the testimonies of those brave enough to spend time within its shadowy embrace. Local reports tell of disembodied voices calling out names, flickering lights, and an unsettling presence that spirals into a cacophony of whispers at dusk. So, as twilight descends and shadows stretch across the grounds, one can't help but feel the weight of history mingling with something far more sinister. What happens when the home you built becomes a prison of the soul? Perhaps, like Mrs., Archer and the restless spirits of her children. Some stories don't find closure. "11. Theatre Royal, Hobart. Hobart's Theatre Royal is more than just a charming venue. It's a ghostly relic steeped in tragedy and dark tales that reach back over 200 years. Imagine, for a moment, a bustling 19th century Hobart where the city was alive with the laughter and gasps of theatergoers, unaware of the shadows looming just beyond the footlights. This historic theater, established in 1837, has bridged generations, but not all who walked its halls have departed. You see, the Theatre Royal is not only Australia's oldest working theatre, it is also home to its fair share of hauntings. Staff and patrons over the decades have reported strange happenings, like inexplicable sounds echoing through empty corridors, muffled whispers, the creaking of old wooden floors when no one's around. But it's deeper than just your typical spooky story. This theater has felt the burn of tragedy. In the late 1800s, a devastating fire engulfed the entire building, leaving it in ruins and claiming lives. The laughter and music silenced almost instantly. The memories remain imprinted within its walls. Even now, cold spots are routinely felt backstage, and performers have claimed to see apparitions dressed in period costumes, roaming the aisles long after the audience has dispersed. Perhaps the most unnerving story comes from an employee who experienced the inexplicable. While closing up one night, he felt a sudden chill that crept down his spine. Glancing at the mirror in the green room, he claimed to see a figure standing behind him, a pale woman in a flowing gown. Her expression void of malice, yet filled with a haunting sorrow. In the blink of an eye, she vanished, leaving the man rattled and questioning if he'd just glimpsed a piece of the theater's tragic past. Local historian accounts suggest that visitors, too, have witnessed orbs of light dancing near the stage. And others swear they could hear a distant piano playing in the dead of night when no one was there. Staff members have reported lights flickering unexpectedly, and doors slamming shut during performances. With each occurrence, the theater's history creeps closer, intertwining with the lives of those who dare to walk its halls. One chilling thought must linger in your mind as you turn away from the Theatre Royal. If such energy still exists, what else remains trapped in the intertwined fates of joy and sorrow lurking in the shadows? After all, not all cries for help can be heard. Some linger long after the applause has faded. Who or what still seeks the spotlight? "12. Ross Female Factory, Ross. Nestled quietly in Tasmania's undulating landscape lies the Ross Female Factory, a site that witnessed the desperate struggles of women cast aside by society. This chilling institution was not just a penal establishment. It was a house of suffering, a place where hope faded alongside the light. Built in 1831, the Female Factory was a work prison for female convicts, most of whom had endured unimaginable hardships. Torn from families, these women were imprisoned not just for crimes, but for the societal stigma of being single mothers, or for simply trying to survive in a harsh world. Inside these crumbling walls, despair hung in the air like a thick fog. Histories of punishment, forced labor, and neglect slither between the stones, whispering tales of misery to those who dare to listen. The specter of one particularly heartbreaking story still roams the grounds, the tale of Madeline. She was a young mother, shackled by both her circumstances and the system that deemed her unworthy, as she wandered the yard in search of her child, whom she had to leave behind. The walls of the factory absorbed her cries of anguish. Locals swear an eerie wail can still be heard if you stand in the courtyard at twilight, a chilling reminder of her unfulfilled bond and unyielding sorrow. Visitors often recount unsettling experiences within the factory's weathered confines. Some report a sudden drop in temperature, an unnatural chill that lingers like a spectral hand brushing against the skin. Others have described the feeling of being watched, as though unseen eyes are following them through the hallowed halls. One group of ghost hunters documented faint but distinct whispers in the night, ghostly voices intertwining with their own, as if reliving the torment of their former lives. What sends shivers down the spine of many who step foot here are the shadows, the unsettling flicker of movement at the edges of vision, the glimpse of something pale darting down a corridor before disappearing. Such encounters leave visitors breathless, questioning not only the fabric of reality, but the weight of history that hangs heavily upon this place. All tales shared paint a portrait of lost souls lingering in a world they can no longer touch, desperate to have their stories heard. The factory stands now as a reminder of their suffering, an engine of despair that pumps stories into the localized lore, ensuring that the past is not forgotten. Darlington Probation Station, Maria Island. On the eerie, windswept shores of Maria Island lies a place where shadows linger longer than they should. The Darlington Probation Station. Established in 1830 as a punishment colony, it became a haven for those who had broken British law debtors, thieves, and more sinister figures. What began as a site for reform quickly adopted a darker purpose, and the tales spun around this forsaken location are nothing short of haunting. Picture this, as the sun sets over the rugged landscape. The chilling cries of the past seem to echo through the dense Tasmanian bush. The station was constructed to house convicts, transformed into a probation station in 1842. But the desolation it later faced invites a different type of punishment. As the colony dwindled and the winds of fate turned, it became a gaping maw of despair. Not just a mere relic. The ruins of Darlington tell tales of hardship, loneliness, and death. Locals and visitors alike have reported strange occurrences amidst the crumbling stone walls. Sounds of clanking chains mingle with whispers carried on the wind, the voices of long-vanished inmates. A particularly chilling account comes from a guide who regularly leads tours through the abandoned building's cold hallways. He described feeling a sudden, oppressive weight on his shoulders as he turned a corner, as if unseen hands pressed down upon him, a sensation so intense he had to fight the urge to flee. The smell of smoke lingers in the air, a remnant from the past, as though the convicts themselves wander through the rubble of their bygone lives. There's one apparition that seems to capture the attention of ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike, a spectral figure dressed in tattered convict garb. Witnesses claim to have seen him wandering the grounds, his face twisted in an expression of eternal anguish. When night falls, the dark corners of the station come alive, muffled voices can be heard, footsteps echoing in abandoned halls where no living soul ought to tread. Yet, despite the darkness veiling this place, what captivates the mind the most is the one story that's left unfinished. Some say the spirits of the convict women, who suffered unspeakable hardships, linger here, bound to the land through sorrow, waiting for a reckoning that may never come. In one chilling encounter, a visitor reported feeling a rush of cold air and the overwhelming sensation of being watched. When she turned, she was met with an empty cell, the iron bars slightly rattling, as if someone had just stepped back into the shadows. Strathgordon Hotel, Strathgordon. In the heart of Tasmania, the Strathgordon Hotel stands shrouded in the mist of wilderness and the weight of its own haunting history. This weather-beaten establishment, once a bustling refuge for travelers and workers alike, now finds itself in an eerie twilight, the air thick with stories of despair and the uncanny. Built in the 1970s to accommodate the influx of construction workers from the Hydroelectric Commission, the hotel was a beacon of hope in a remote and rugged landscape. as the sound of hammers and machinery filled the air. It also became a sanctuary of sorts, a place for laughter, camaraderie, and the occasional late-night drink. But as the years rolled by, the promise of progress took a darker turn. The projects ended, the crowds dispersed, and the echoes of joyous noise faded, leaving behind an unsettling silence, the kind that makes your skin crawl. Visitors to the Strathgordon Hotel often report an overwhelming sense of unease, particularly in the dead of night. Many swear they've heard whispers in empty hallways, the kind that send a chill racing down your spine. Locals speak of a mysterious figure seen lingering near the old bar area, a shadowy silhouette that disappears when approached. Could it be the spirit of one of the many workers who toiled here, never to return home? You see, death isn't so easily forgotten in places like these. One guest, staying in what is known to be the haunted room, recounted their experience vividly. Just as they settled in for the night, they were jolted awake by cold drafts sweeping through the room and the sound of heavy footsteps outside their door, despite there being no one else on their floor. And when they gathered the courage to investigate, the hallway seemed to stretch endlessly, with the flickering lights overhead casting long, distorted shadows. Others have shared similar accounts, doors slamming shut with no explanation and the sensation of being watched, as if the very walls hold on to the stories of those who came before. Though there is no documented evidence of malevolent spirits lurking within the hotel, the combination of solitude, history, and unexplained phenomena gives rise to speculation. Many believe that the restless energy of lost souls permeates the air, caught in a loop of unfinished business, forever bound to this isolated outpost. So next time you pass through Strathgordon, take a moment to glance back at the hotel. It stands not just as a structure of brick and mortar, but as a vessel of untold stories and whispers of the past. "15. Runnymede, National Trust, Tasmania, Hobart. In the heart of Tasmania, Runnymede stands a grand but eerie remnant of the 19th century, where the air seems thick with stories best left untold. This splendid Italianate villa, built between 1836 and 1842, was once the home of prominent settler and landowner John de Graves. But behind the opulent facade lies a history dripping with misfortune and unquiet spirits. John de Graves, an ambitious man, was a key figure in the development of Hobart and its surrounding areas. Unfortunately, his life was marked by tragedy. His wife, Mary, tragically passed away in 1839, shortly after the family settled into their new home. The loss shattered him, casting a long shadow over what was once a lively household. Some say that her spirit, filled with sorrow, never really left Runnymede. Visitors and locals speak of a persistent chill that descends abruptly as they cross the threshold, accompanied by the soft sound of weeping. Several claims report that on quiet nights, an ethereal figure resembling a woman in a flowing white dress appears in the upper windows, her face obscured but her sorrow palpable. It's said she watches over the grounds, forever longing for something lost, forever tethered to the home she once loved, adding to the haunting atmosphere. Runnymede has witnessed its fair share of historical conflict. The house was a witness to the tumultuous social landscape of Tasmania, serving as a symbol of prosperity for some and a reminder of the harsh injuries inflicted on its indigenous peoples. Those echoes of pain and loss permeate the very walls of this estate. Some say the powerful emotions embedded in the history of Runnymede have created a threshold for the paranormal. Reports of cold spots, flickering lights, and unexplained noises are recurrent, drawing ghost hunters and thrill seekers eager to witness the supernatural for themselves. One visitor recounted standing in the garden, feeling a sudden rush of cold air, as a disembodied voice whispered, "Help me," frightened yet entranced. They fled, unsure of whether the entity sought rescue or simply wished to convey its grief to the living. As twilight blankets Runnymede, the atmosphere thickens with foreboding. Maybe within those stately walls, time does not march forward but lingers, replaying the heartache and the stories of those once cherished. Remember, when you venture near Runnymede, tread lightly. The past is not merely a memory. It's a haunting reminder that some souls are not ready to leave their lament behind. Thanks for joining us on this spine-chilling journey through Tasmania's haunted historic sites. If you enjoyed diving into these ghostly tales, smash that like button and subscribe for more eerie adventures. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll uncover Tasmania's darkest legends and the real stories behind its most haunted locations. Until next time, keep the lights on and your curiosity alive.